Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today this is me making swatches of my floss. Now, to get this thing started, I had to clamp off half of it off to the other side of my board so I could get the strings lined up in order, and then I had to clamp the right side off in order to get the left side organized. But as you can see, my collection, they're joined at the loops, and the collection is all about having the same number of strings and roughly the same pattern to sort of be able to gauge the differences in the floss. Like, I knew going into this that this floss here was bigger than my regular floss, but I couldn't necessarily quantify by what, like how much bigger is it. If I were making a bigger project, say a bag or something, how would that change everything? So my normal floss, when put up against this, there is almost a 1/4 inch difference when the strings are doubled, right? So that's what we're working with right here. This is the strings being doubled up together. About a 1/4 inch, which doesn't seem like much, but if you figure you do 12 loops for a bag, that 1/4 inch is suddenly, now the bag is 3 inches larger, right? So that can be kind of significant, like, because we're comparing this to the stuff I normally use. But what if we compared this to like the least expensive string I got? Let me just quick put these together. Yeah, that's way bigger difference. That's, I don't know, it's huge. But yeah, so like my original bag was made out of the cheapest string I could find. I was confident, but then again, I wasn't sure what was going to happen with the base of it. I wasn't sure what my overall thought would be with the whole thing. So I just used the cheapest string possible. When Mandy asked me for a bag of that size, I picked better string for the next one. And the difference in size was great enough that my wife hated it. It was too big for her to carry. She didn't like it. That's the kind of thing. That's why you kind of want this kind of a project going on, is just to be able to see the differences of the different kinds. And I know, like, some of you guys are using like the pearl number 5. It's a crochet type yarn. Like, so that would be a completely different thing from, like, say, DMC. Even DMC, compared to the string I usually use, is smaller. So DMC is one of the smaller. One of the ones I have on here is almost identical to DMC. I think maybe coming out of China. I'm not 100%. It came from a store called Shopee, which I think is limited to like Singapore, Malaysia, maybe Indonesia, but it's like, it's a more of a local thing here that we have Shopee. So that's and that stuff is almost identical to the DMC floss. But my real problem with them was, you order how much ever you order. I think I bulked up and like multiplied it by 4. So like it was like 400 skeins or something crazy like that. And they just send you whatever colors they feel like. And yeah, I got some cool bracelets made out of that. But yeah, I like picking my colors much better than just trying to figure out from a bin full of strings like which ones to choose. So yeah, for a while there though, I was making bracelets out of that string. In fact, I think I still have some like baggies made up with colors that were chosen of it, because I didn't like mixing it with my normal stuff because of the size difference. Okay, so here, back to the swatch thing here. This is single stranded. So I have a double strand and then I make the single strand. And the object there is that depending on what kind of projects I'm making, I can gauge exactly like how big stuff is. And there's, you know, you can do math. Like, this is a 16 string swatch, but if I was making 12 string, I could pretty much do math to figure out like how wide that would be, or, you know, figure out like how long it is based on the number of rows, things like that. It's surprising how handy these things can really be. And maybe you don't use other flosses, at least not yet. It's still a thing. Like, there are other flosses out there. There are cheaper ones potentially. If you're using DMC, you'd be surprised at how much you can save by ordering from AliExpress. And I get people are like, oh, but the quality of DMC. I'll be honest, the stuff I get from China has far fewer knots tied together inside of the skein, joining pieces together like it didn't have enough to do the whole 8 meters, so they join it. My string has far less of that than DMC has. And look, I love DMC. I grew up with that stuff. But I would say that their quality isn't quite what it used to be. And yeah, I'll take what I get because it's more reliable. I still buy extra just in case there's, a flaw in it and I'm making a big project. I still put on a little bit more, but it's surprising how infrequently I actually needed any of the extras, and it just turns out that way. So, okay, this was how it was made. Let's show you what it all looks like. Okay, so this is all of them. This here was some string I got out of Thailand. It's really rough on the hands to use, and it's huge. And I keep thinking I'm gonna make a bag out of this string, but I haven't got around to it yet. It's so thick though that when you tie a knot with it, it uses up a good amount of string. And so the lengths I would have to go to have the string long enough to actually make a bag with it, because this is single stranded, even though it's like huge compared to anything else that's even double strand. The strings would have to be so long, it would be really bad. So I keep kind of procrastinating about making that. And then here's the neon stuff, the stuff that glows with a black light. Interesting string, kind of fun. It's a little bit different than my regular stuff, not by much. This is my regular stuff from China. Not too bad. It's a little chunkier than some. It's a little chunkier than this one. Not by much though. Look at that. It's barely a few difference. That's the stuff from the Shopee, and then this is my DMC floss. This is my Daiso floss, the stuff from Japan that's smaller, and then my new glow in the dark stuff. As far as the glow in the dark thing goes, it lasts for a few minutes. It's kind of like those kids' toys where you can charge it up really good, and then you get 5-10 minutes of glow, and then it's gone. So I'm not particularly impressed with it overall, but it's a cool novelty. If you had a bracelet made of this and you go into the club and the black light hits it, it's gonna light up big time, and then it'll take a little while for it to kind of go off. But that's my swatches so far. If I find more string, I will probably add it to it. I thought about doing some pearl cotton and stuff, but that would require me buying a bunch of pearl cotton and getting around to doing it, and I don't really use it, so I don't know. We'll get there one day perhaps. But yeah, so hey, thanks for watching, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.